here. I'm the host of the eCommerce Profits podcast, where we feature top experts and entrepreneurs in the e-commerce industry. And we go behind the scenes of the struggles and successes in growing a brand. Now, this episode is brought to you by Chronos.agency. If you run a direct-to-consumer e-com brand that is ready to scale and to double your customer lifetime value through retention marketing, Chronos is your company. We've helped hundreds of brands scale profits with email, SMS, and mobile push while getting an average of 3,500% ROI from our efforts. We worked with brands like Truly Beauty, Elias Skin, and Dr. Living Good, and many more. The next step is to email us at sales@chronos.agency, or you can go to chronos.agency to learn more. Today's guest is Sebastian Ghiorghiu. He is a digital entrepreneur, very young digital entrepreneur. You're 22 years old, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Sebastian is based in Phoenix, Arizona. He has an incredible YouTube channel, tons of value, with over 240,000 subscribers, where he talks about digital marketing, how to make money on Shopify, and how he lives as an entrepreneur, living his dream. At the age of 20, he built and managed a dropshipping store that generated over $10,000 every single day. And today he's making way more than that. And he's got a couple of things up his sleeve that I'd like to share with you guys today. So Sebastian, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. That was really pleasant.
Yeah, of course. Talk to me about where you got started. You have a really interesting journey and you blew up really quickly. How do you get into the space in e-commerce?
Okay, so just e-com in general, because I've done a lot of things in the space, obviously, but I got started in this space right after high school. So it's been like 4 or 5 years at least. And basically what happened was I dropped out of college before I got into this space. And I was like, hey, I'm going to try doing real estate because I was living with my mom. My parents are divorced and my mom does not make a lot of money at the time. So I was going to go to college and I had to pay for it by myself. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to be responsible for college, then I'm going to maybe take a year off and my parents can't force me to go. So I did. I dropped out and I pursued real estate because I was always interested in real estate and I thought it was cool. But I learned that, they only make money when they sell a house. So while I was training, I went online and I looked up how to make money online and I got into the dropshipping space. And people were just starting to pop off and always talk about dropshipping and stuff. So I figured I'd give it a shot. And the first 2 weeks didn't go too well, but the 2 weeks after that went really well. And then my first full month, I did really well. I made $5,000 dropshipping. And then I continued to grow and grow and grow and do better and better. And then that led into starting a YouTube channel because I built up a reputation. People, I was always commenting on videos oh my God, this worked. I'm making money right now. People were make videos, teach us how you did it. And so I did. For some reason, God knows why, the YouTube channel just grew. I think people, I don't know, I can't tell you why they like the content. A comment I get a lot is I feel like you're really transparent. So I feel like maybe people get
you are, yeah.
Transparent.
That's what I got, yeah.
Truth, and so maybe they trust me and they want to subscribe to me. So maybe that's what it is. But yeah, so the YouTube channel grew and then I started more brands. They did even better than ever before. And yeah, all of that led into where we are today with the agency.
That's incredible. It's interesting that you say that because when I I'm looking at the journey that you had over the years, and the drop shipping industry as a whole is generally a little bit more opaque than most, and it's filled with scams, right? Let's not sugarcoat it. It's filled with scams and a lot of shady stuff that's going on, especially in the early days in 2016, 2017. But you came in with a fresh take on what it means to add value to the community. Where does the mindset come from? Who are your mentors? And your core values seem to be just integrity, transparency, and just value first, which are very aligned with mine. That's why I feel that we are aligned in many ways. Where is that coming from?
Yeah, dude. So my core, let's talk about mindset and then core values. So my mindset, I've was wired as a child, dude. Like growing up, your brain is malleable, right? You soak in information and your brain is, your neurons connect in different ways depending on the environment and everything around you. I was wired as a kid to make sure that I make a lot of money when I'm older because of all the negative experiences I had as a child that resulted from my mom not having money. Mom, I got made fun of at school because I don't have cool shoes. I don't have money. Like, hey, can I go out with my friends? I don't have money. I don't have money all the time. So I was like, screw that. Like when I'm older, my kids are never going through that because it sucked, dude. Like it was terrible. So wired as a kid to always know that I'm going to make a lot of money. That's where the mindset and the drive and the motivation came from. It's not, I wouldn't even say it's motivation. It's just like who I am. Like it's just, I don't know.
100%.
It was raised, it was like ingrained in me growing up because I never had it.
I can relate to that. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. You understand because
Yeah.
I would assume that your parents were immigrants of some sort. My parents were immigrants, right?
Yeah. So I grew up pretty, at some point in time, I was well to do, like kind of low middle class income type of family. Then a divorce happened, two bankruptcies, personal and business. My parents went through. They split up. It was horrible, right? For a kid to go through that, not understanding what was going on, not being told what was happening, and seeing all the problems that arise from not having money and all the quarrels and the conflict that happened from not having money. It's horrible. So I think that I can 100% relate to that. And yeah, growing up, not being able to go out to, have a meal just because I have no money and seeing my bank account go to 0.02 all the time. And having to borrow money from friends just to, have a meal. Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's humiliating in a way. Like as a kid, you're like, this sucks. Real quick, it's funny that you say you grew up kind of middle class because I did too. My parents got divorced when I was 4, but I have older siblings. And when my parents were together, my dad was a businessman and my family was middle class. I don't really remember this lifestyle. I don't remember as long as I can remember, my parents have been divorced. But again, bankruptcy with my dad, and then my parents got divorced. And then more issues were like my mom always calling my dad, asking my dad for money. And like I remember my mom crying, hearing her on the phone. And then like I would call my dad and be like, please send mom money. And I'm like, what am I, like 8 years old? Like, so, I should be playing with toys. Like I shouldn't be doing this. So
God,
again,
heavy.
it's funny that you say that.
That's heavy.
Yeah, we relate even more in that sense.
I think that's where the drive comes from, that hunger, and that to some degree, I think we evolve beyond that. That's like at the start, scarcity and having not enough is super important because that's what kind of keeps us up and keeps us going. But at some point, I think abundance has to take over. And I think that's what you have today. And that's what I see from your videos and what you're telling me in like the pre-show, the stuff that we talked about. Where is that coming from? And we touch a little bit on core values as well.
Yeah, let me finish up core values and then we'll talk about the abundance. So I would say the core values come from the fact that I was raised in a very, very Christian Pentecostal traditional household. Okay. So like my parents are immigrants. So you have the tradition, if you just take Christianity aside, although Romania is a traditional and mostly Christian country, just the values of this culture is very different. Our culture is very different. We're very about family, like staying together, ironically. But and then obviously everything that Christianity entails, like I was fed that throughout my childhood. So that's where like my core values are aligned. I'm still like that today. Still, have Christian core values. But yeah, that's pretty much that. And now abundance. Is that what you wanted me to touch on? Where did I get this abundance mindset?
Yeah.
Okay. So like I was telling you before we started the podcast.
And also what does that mean to have an abundance mindset?
Okay. Yeah. So before, like I said, I told you that I was very frugal and I would try to save all the money that I made and I would not really try to spend it unless it was like on things I really enjoyed, like a car or like a cool place to live or whatever. But recently, and I told this to you again, but like recently I've gotten this idea, like you said, seed planted in my mind, to spend money on the business, to hire people that are better at you than whatever you're hiring them for. Like before, I would try to learn a task and then do it. And then it's hard to come
Mm,
up with an idea for something and then learn
yeah.
the best way to execute this idea and then go and do execution on all these different levels. So, for example, I'm going to use the same example, like producing a YouTube video. Now, you can come up with a video idea and then you can edit the video idea and you could do the camera angles and you could do like the optimization and learn how to do all these things. You can do them, but surely, if you find people that are the best in each category, your content is going to be way, way, way better. And you're not going to be like the bandwidth in your mind is way
Mm-hmm.
more. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be burnt out. So that's what I
Yep.
was. And so I for like 4 years, I was always burnt out because I was trying to do everything. Everything. I never had a business partner. I never had a
Mm-hmm.
business partner. I did everything by myself, drop shipping, all of these things by myself.
Yep.
Um, and like this year has just been insanely different, completely different. Like I said, I don't know where this came from, but like full staff. I have like full staff for the agency. I have a team for my YouTube content now. And I basically hire people that are just way better at me than whatever I hired them to do. And I put them there and I'm like, go off, like shine, do what you're really good at and I will pay
Yeah.
you. And I'm taking the risk here, but I believe in you and I think it's going to work. Um, so that's like kind of the abundance mindset is like, I'm going to pay for talent. Like the expenses right now, my expenses are insane. Never been this high in my life. Like obviously it's very stressful, but like I know that it's going to be worth it. And
Yeah.
it's weird. It's kind of like a bittersweet thing because I don't have to worry about all of these other things, but I'm spending a lot of money. So, I
Yeah.
get time to focus on big ideas and I get to be that person.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Funny story. I was just in LA a couple of weeks back, and I was playing poker in the bicycle casino, and I saw this dude taking just like business calls on the poker table, and I kind of I chatted him up. I was like, "What do you do?" And because it was like in the middle of the day, and I was just taking the break, right? It was in the middle of the day, and he was playing poker and was taking calls. And he was like, "Oh, that's an unusual call. I don't usually do that. I usually end my day at 10 a.m." I was like, 10 a.m. What do you mean? What time do you wake up? And he's like, I wake up at 5. I end my day by 10 a.m. and I just do whatever the heck I want. I was like, so what exactly do you do? He's like, I run multiple businesses, a consulting business, a software business, and all that stuff. And he has a chief of staff that runs everything for him. Um, that runs basically every single business, feeds him all the information that he needs to make decisions first thing in the morning. And I was like, how do you get to that stage where you're running multiple businesses and not having to do anything after 10 a.m.? What if someone bugs you? And he's like, you just have to let go. You have to let go and you have to trust. You have to put the best people in the best possible positions in the best seats. And you have to let go and know that they want what's best for your company and incentivize them in the best way for that to happen. So it's about incentives, it's about people, and it's about letting go and trusting. I'm like, is that it? That's all? I mean, he must be doing something right. And now the more I kind of reflect upon that, the more I think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Like if I'm trying to do every single thing on my own and control every single process and a little thing, it's never going to scale, never going to make it.
You're going to get burnt out and it's going to remove the ability that you have to come up with creative ideas that are worth tens of millions of dollars. That's what it's going to do. So I don't need to think about customer support or service. I don't need to think about
Yeah,
Google Ads or Google strategy or email flows or how to be a great copywriter. I
exactly.
can have like a general idea, but that's not what I'm dealing with every day. What I'm dealing with every day is like big picture. Like what can we
Mm,
do? Like where do we go? And if I'm focused on all these little things, I can't come up with that stuff.
yeah.
I'm too like exhausted. I can't do it. Maybe some people can, like super geniuses. I'm not that.
Maybe, but even then, to amplify your impact, like even people like Elon Musk, he has CEOs for every single company and he has
Yeah.
generals for every single function. The only thing that he does is make very critical decisions. And if you need the mind space to be able to make calls that no one else can. that only you can.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And I will say that ever since I hired, like the people that I pay now, like it's not like they're all employees because I have like 7 employees, but the people that I pay to help me with things is probably like 10 or 15 different various
yeah,
people or more. Right. So it's like like I said, I'm spending a lot of money every month, but I'm also like making five, like this year I probably make 5 times more than any other year before. Like so like the income is going to skyrocket. Like I know that. And it's already just a lot more income, but I'm also spending a lot more. So it's not like I'm profiting, like insane, crazy amounts, but it's just growing. Like the revenue and like the numbers and all of that is just like getting big. So
exactly.
yeah.
Talk to me about digital wealth MB. And what does MB stand for?
Bro, it doesn't make any sense. It stands for media buying, but
Okay.
we don't even buy media. It's Google Ads. So it
Yeah.
sounds cool.
Yeah.
The actual name of the business is Digital Wealth Media Buying and Growth Group. So that's the agency.
Okay.
That's who
Ooh,
you're
that's a
working.
long name. All right.
Yeah. LLC
So
at the end.
what do you do at Digital Wealth MB?
Yeah. So at Digital Wealth, we run bespoke Google advertisements for your brand at a performance offer. So you actually only pay us at Digital Wealth if you're profitable. If you're not profitable from the ads that we run for you, then we're not going to bill you. Um, and we are, like I said, a performance agency. So we're very, very, very picky with clients. Very like extremely picky. If we go into your business, which is our protocol. Before any
Mhm.
client we sign, we go into their business and spend 2 days looking through their Google accounts, looking through their analytics, looking through their KPIs, gross margin, AOV, all of these different things, and then forecasting what we can do for them. And if what we can do for them is not worth it every month based on our fee, we're going to come back and literally tell them that we're not going to sign them. Even if it's a business making even if it's a business making $1 million a year, we've turned down a business that was doing $1 million a month before because we were like,
Mm,
you guys are doing good. We can't do anything. We're a performance agency. I'm sorry, like we can't do anything. So that's
yeah.
just the nature of it. It's a very
Yeah.
interesting model. It's very new. I haven't seen a lot of people do that. But yeah, we do Google ads, we do email
Mhm.
marketing, and we're launching SMS marketing as well. And then on top of that, once you come and work with us and we grow your brand, we help you, we give you all this advice, whatever the case may be. We can also get you sold. So we can do acquisition for up to $100 million.
I
And
love that.
we can do all of that. So it's like a roundhouse service. If you come to us, you're doing 80K a month or whatever, we're going to give you some suggestions on the website, maybe get you a better
Yeah.
Facebook ad agency, do something here, get your Google email, SMS plugged in. When you're down the line, you're doing 160K a month. You sell your business for whatever it is, $3 million. Right. So
Interesting. Now, let's talk a little bit about that. Now, it sounds like the end goal for for most of your clients, and I suppose most e-com brands is to get acquired, to sell, right? That's where the big is at. Um, what's the roadmap to getting to a high valuation as a business and getting to sell?
yeah, man. So every business is different, right? And if let's start here. If you're making less than $100,000 a year profit, then you need to just go on like third party websites like Flippa or something like that and go get and try to sell it there. But if you want to
Right.
get acquired, like you're talking 7 figures, you're going to need a
Yeah.
broker and you're going to need like people, you're going to need professionals. This is going to take like 6 months. It's going to be a process, but you're going to get a fat wire transfer when it's all done. So it's totally worth it. Now for multiple, this all depends on the industry that you're in. So let's say e-commerce. E-commerce is actually one of
Yeah.
the highest right now, with the high end being a 3.4, around a 3.4 if your business is making over 7 million a year profit. So
Mm,
they look at like trailing 12 months and they look at net profit,
right.
owner's wages. So it's called SDE,
Discretionary.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's what it's called. Yeah. And so they go based off that. So if you're making less money, say you're profiting 250K a year and you have an e-commerce company, you probably get acquired at like 2.2 to 2.5, something like that. Every year this changes, by the way. But yeah, the
Right.
more you profit, the higher the multiplier gets. So, essentially you'd want to wait until you get into the next bracket. So it goes like 250 to 500, 500 to a mil, and then like
Yeah.
1, 3, and then like between 3 and 7. If you go above 7, then it becomes like the highest. So obviously it depends, but all businesses are different. So
Yeah.
obviously, if it's a business with super high profit margins, say it's like a SaaS, like SaaS is really attractive. But e-commerce and SaaS are right there. But if you have a SaaS and it's like 95% margins and it's like very easy to scale and it's like straightforward, lean team, like all of that, it's going to be more attractive. People pay more for it. So it all depends.
Makes sense. Why Google Ads? Specifically Google Ads. Why do you start there and not say Facebook ads where most people might think about?
Sure. So I'm going to give away a secret. So this might inspire people to start Google ad agencies, but here's the thing. So you have a Facebook ad agency. Now,
Yeah.
Facebook and Google are very different. Facebook, when you run a Facebook ad, you're interrupting somebody and you're trying to convince them to listen to you, to buy your product, whatever it is. So on Facebook, you're going to use a creative to do that, to persuade somebody. And the creative itself and the offer have like 80%, if not more of the weight. Like, what are they looking at? Is it a good creative? Is it good at capturing and persuading you? And the offer, is this worth it? Those hold so much weight, right? And as an agency, all I'm going to be doing if I'm running Facebook ads is the strategy of Facebook ads. I that those other things are out of my control unless I'm running a creative agency, unless I'm partnered with this agency and every client that I have goes with them and I know they're going to have fire creatives and a fire offer and like their
Yeah.
business is great, like that's the thing. So it's those things are out of my control, right?
Yeah.
Those things are out of my control. Those ads get fatigued, and that adds a lot of uncertainty to me as a business owner. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen. Google is not like that in any way. Google is just strategy, just
Yeah.
strategy. So like the better you are at running Google ads, the more money you're going to make. You give 10 people the same account, you clone 10 accounts and you give 10 people of different skill levels. It's in linear order. These people are going to make more money.
Mm.
So it's if you find talent and people that have more experience that know more Google, like, head to toe, everything about it, they'll do better. And it's not creative reliant either. It's, you're tapping into a pool of people that are already searching for the product. So, if
Yeah.
you're looking for an air fryer, you're going to have whatever the case is, 3 million people, 2 million people a month typing in air fryer on Google. And all you have to
Yeah.
do is tap into that pool of people. And then, your strategy and the best one wins. Obviously, like shopping images and stuff like that, obviously that's a little bit creative reliant. You want to have good shopping images and you want to optimize those, but a lot of it is text and words and bidding and stuff like that. So that's
Right.
entirely in our control. So that's why Google and not Facebook. That's why. Also because Facebook is a terrible company. Facebook is a bad company. Their communication for like people that buy their ads, terrible,
Yeah.
absolutely terrible. I don't like
It
Facebook. I
is.
don't like Mark Zuckerberg. I don't like them. And the bans are so unpredictable and so sensitive. Google's not
Yeah.
like it at all. So the interface itself is way better on Google. So that's another reason. And then the third reason, because nobody knows Google Ads and nobody talks about Google Ads. Nobody. Like you have $1 million e-com store. You have these kids that are 18 years old, right? And they're running Facebook ads and they find a winning product. And this kid's like in high school, just graduated high school, making $1 million a year. And he doesn't know anything about Google. Like he's going to go on Upwork and find like an Indian dude to run Google. And then he has to worry about that. And that's stressful. And that's this and that. So there was a ton of people talking about Facebook ads. And so what happened was all these kids, all of us, like in between our 18 and 25 or whatever, we started all these businesses and we only ran Facebook ads and we didn't run Google. Nobody talked about Google ads. So I was like, hey, I'm going to find the best Google ads guys in the world. And then I'm going to go and find all these kids that look up to the YouTubers that got them into this space, me being one of them. And I'm going to say, let me run your Google ads and only pay me if you're profitable. And that's what it is.
Incredible. I love that. I love niching down on just, something that is something that people typically don't think about, and but it is going to be super profitable and super uh, impactful when done right. What's the ideal outcome of or rather, what's the best case scenario that you've seen with brands that are working with you?
Dude, yeah, like brands will come to us with no Google ads, making multi six figures a month, And
Yeah.
then we'll come in and get Google ads running. And within 2 months, 20% of their revenue is Google.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So
mm.
it's like, and then,
Incredible.
like I'm invoicing them like 3-4K. And I'm like, you're welcome. Like I just made you 100 grand. Like,
For 100 grand. Yeah, that's insane ROI.
mhm.
But what about the issue with scaling? I know that there's always a challenge with scaling because it's limited by search terms to some degree, Google
Mhm.
Ads.
Yeah.
Um, are there any workarounds with like very specific product types that have very limited search terms and interest online?
So that's something that we look at as part of our product protocol before we sign a client. You know,
Hmm.
if we look into their account and we look at the search terms, the most common ones that people are going to look up, and the pools are very small and there's not a lot of search volume, then we probably can't run with them. We're probably just going to come back and say no. So that's something that we try to avoid prior to signing a client.
Makes
Um,
sense.
if there is a client and for some reason we can't scale for whatever reason, we could always find ways to like go broad, like YouTube and display campaigns and stuff. But we don't get too far into that stuff. YouTube
Mm,
is YouTube is good, but it's good for very specific brands, and it's also good
yeah.
for brands that have a large budget. Unless you're
Yep.
just doing like retargeting ads, if you're trying to do like a whole campaign, you're
Yep.
going to need a pretty big budget, in my opinion.
And what I understand, it only makes sense if your product is at a relatively higher AOV, above like $70, $150 thereabouts. That's the sweet spot for YouTube ads. Because anything lower than that is going to be really difficult because CPAs are much more expensive on YouTube, and the quality of content probably needed on YouTube is probably much higher as well.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. And then also like, yeah, you're going to want a high LTV or like a brand with a subscription model, or like, you've seen like Purple
Mm,
Mattress, but it's a mattress, is, expensive. You see
yeah,
videos for courses and mentorship all the time. Those are thousands of
yeah,
dollars. You see Dr. Squatch ads on YouTube, that's subscription and they're
yeah,
expensive. Like you're probably going to spend a couple $100.
yeah.
So yeah.
What's the all right on the flip side, right? What's what type of clients do you typically not work with?
Right. So let me give you my ideal client, and then
Yeah.
everything else we kind of don't care about. So the
Okay.
ideal client is a brand, not a dropshipping store, a brand
Yeah.
that is doing at least $50,000 a month in sales for
Okay.
a period of time greater than 3 months. Obviously, we don't want them to just have scaled. It's preferable that they've been doing it for 6 months, even more preferable for a year. We also
Yeah.
we also prefer to have clients with an AOV above $50.
Okay.
Um, and with a conversion rate above 2%.
Right.
Um, and then also multiple sources of traffic, Facebook, Snapchat, Pinterest, TikTok, even Google. So yeah, multiple sources of traffic, not just one, so that if that falls off,
Mm,
we're screwed and like we need it. Now everything's on us. We want to come into your business and help you grow. We don't want to like do everything for you.
mm,
Yeah, that's the ideal client right there. So obviously, the more revenue that they're doing, the more we can spend on Google because it's a bigger brand and there's more awareness and more people are searching up the brand, more people are searching up the competitors, the products, like there's a lot more to spend, obviously. So, and as they spend more, we make more. So the bigger the brand, the better and the more preferable. But yeah, 50K a month is the minimum.
gotcha. Makes sense. Sebastian, what's the best way to get in touch with you and your agency?
Yeah. So if you want to follow me personally, I highly recommend you go subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Sebastian Ghiorghiu, or
Great
you can go
content.
follow me. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Everybody should subscribe. Yeah.
It's getting
Fire
better. It's
content.
only getting better, I promise.
And you're going so hard on it in the coming year as well. So
You just
definitely
wait.
subscribe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just wait. But that, and then on Instagram at Seb SEBB, you can go follow me there. That's my like personal business ish Instagram. If you want to reach out to my agency, if you're interested in Google Ads, if you're interested in email marketing SMS, go to my friend here. Don't go to us because he's been doing it way longer. So yeah, save Google Ads for us though. But yeah, we can. You can go to our website, www.digitalwealthmb.com, or you can email us info@digitalwealthmb.com or Sebastian@digitalwealthmb.com, whatever works. But go to our website and book a call, and then I will join you on that call whenever the date is, and we can talk about it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Perfect. Sebastian, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.